name's Angelica Campos with the Ring of Democracy Outreach Specialist.
Valma Volsi, the Ring of Democracy, founder and executive director. You're laughing, thank you.
And yeah, so we just wanted to preface that the Ring of Democracy is not a political organization, but a nonprofit organization, and we're hosting these sit downs with candidates to, get familiar with what you stand for, to make it available to the community in a different setting like this.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so YK, in an effort to further democratize our electoral process, we just want to bring you candidates who's running in the Sacramento region to basically speak to an audience that is not usually tapped into these discussions. So your message and every other candidate who wishes to speak to the Ring of Democracy, so we can circulate that message so more people can learn about you all. So that being said, we'll get right into it. Give you about a minute or two to basically, talk about, why you're running for office, higher office than the one you're in now. Just like tell us a little bit about yourself, and the people who's listening would love to hear from you.
Awesome. Thank you again for this opportunity. As you rightly said, it's a short form, YK. It's under Y2K. If you remember, I always cut that joke. But truly, I came to this country during Y2K as a computer science engineer. And, become the US citizen about 7 years ago. Yes. And running for Assembly District 7. And my name, YK, English translation, 7 Hills. Look at that, how many sevens are there? So after I become the US citizen, even before also, I was very actively engaged with the community. My mayor called me and said, okay, YK, since you have been actively engaged, here is an assignment for you. He appointed me as a Parks and Rec commissioner. And I started engaging community, even in that role, adopt a trail program, right? Let the community see the government working, people and government together. Throughout my life, I work for government as well. So there is a sense of engaging the community, listening to the community, what community needs. That's one of the driver, because I worked 27 years in government. And number two, the bureaucrats and government spending the hard-earned taxpayers' money. It bothers me when we spend without that sincere commitment as a steward. So, some of those are, making me to run for an office rather than complaining outside. Taxes are high, spending is high, we are not getting the services. Be part of it and make a change. And also the other one, inclusive. I'm an immigrant, still thick accent. I got to participate in democracy. Be part of the, our civic engagement process and steer the ship.
Well, thank you so much for getting into the Ring of Democracy. That is amazing. Thank you. So just, we'll get started with some questions. And in the Sacramento region, one of the biggest things facing our community now is homelessness. It is plaguing our community, and we need to do something about it. Because as you may know, just regular people are tired, businesses are tired, the government's tired, but no one really has a silver bullet to fixing that issue. So what do you think is the best approach to homelessness, and what do you plan on doing about it?
I think I probably may tag to what I said before also. Engaging those nonprofits who are already actively working. It must be a partnership. What it means, you probably might have heard, there are, first step forward to heart of homeless assistance team, resource team in various cities, and in Folsom Powerhouse. There are so many nonprofits, faith-based organizations are already working on this. I personally have been a member and an active volunteer with Folsom Homeless Assistance Resource Team, we call HEART. So we are working on this, but government must partner with these nonprofits. That's one thing. And I can probably quote one nonprofit, which I'm more closely associated as well, Powerhouse Ministries, that is in Folsom. They take more or less 40 individuals and they wrap around for 18 months, keep them and start making them think and rehabilitate on whatever the challenges they have, drug or alcohol, whatever it is, and teaching them the budget, finances, and teaching them again the tools they can get a job, and finally put them in a job and let them go. Slow process, 18 months process. Their success rate, 90+%. 90%. It's working in Folsom. So we got to have our services in a result driven. Are they working? The money we are putting is working. I can quote, I think county is opened up 250 bed shelters / small homes in North Islands, which is in my district, Assembly District 7. All the stuff they're doing is awesome. One thing they have to emphasize, invest more, teaching them the tools to be a productive citizen. And I can tell, state, even though they are in a deficit, they still have so many jobs. At least steering these people in a job path is important. And I have 5 team members working in my campaign. They are unhoused friends in my campaign. 5. Teach them how to fish.
Thank you.
I actually have a follow-up question. You mentioned the importance of a hands-up approach as well on your website. And can you share specific strategies to help individuals become employable and productive citizens beyond immediate relief efforts?
Yeah, absolutely. As I was mentioning, right, I have been hosting, if I'm sure you might have checked my website or Facebook, how to get a state job, California state job workshops for the last 13 years. It's a matter of, teaching and fine-tuning their skills, whomsoever it is, because I don't know that individual, right? Yes, there is a homeless, unhoused individual. For various reasons, they become homeless, but there were skills, I'm just making up here, accounting before. It's a matter of that 6 months period, what Powerhouse Ministry does, fine-tune their skill to look for accounting side of the jobs they assist. So it's a hand up rather than pulling them out and putting them in a job and making them succeed in their life. It's tools and the skills we have to brush for them, besides managing the dollar budget.
Thank you for that, YK. Just want to ask a quick question about your upbringing and how that actually your experiences have gotten you here to be able to run for office. As an immigrant, a person who came to this country, not that long ago, a person that, as you mentioned, who has a thick accent, who doesn't look like everyone around you, who lives in Folsom. How does that shape your perspective, your vision, and how you plan on governing as a assembly member?
Thank you for asking that question. You're right. I was so hesitant when I decided to run for an office, right? You are describing in a question, you're not looking like one of the people living in Folsom, majority, right? But one thing I can say, it's true across this region and the country. They see you as human. We all know, I think a few weeks ago, we celebrated MLK, Martin Luther King, right, Junior Day. And, judge the person not based on their color, but the character, content. I felt it in Folsom. Even though I still have a brown skin and thick accent, they have literally seen me, my Folsom people. No, YK has a serving heart. He wants to contribute. He wants to give it back. They have seen it in Folsom. Not this kind of color guy was won for Folsom City Council in last 78 years. And not just one. 7 people ran. I got the top votes than anybody. Top. The second person is far from me. So to tell you, if you are sincere, whosoever is listening, people like me or color, they have a passion to run and contribute. If you are sincere with your serving mindset, people see that. The people, I know, I started at the beginning, the human, right? They see it.
Yes,
and
sir.
that made me to run for this big office, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I noticed also one of the issues you want to address, I mean, you spoke to it already, is fiscal accountability and spending oversight. And on your website, you did mention, you wanted to stop wasting tax dollars. A question I had is, where are they being wasted, and where do you think we should prioritize funding instead?
That's a very hard question, where they are wasting, right? The people who are working on, probably they can tell where they are wasting. I can tell with my limited knowledge where I worked. And I'm sure this is a perspective also outside world. Every department gets their budget and they can spend that money. Forget about the current deficit, right? That billions of dollars, 31 billion or 68 billion. The perspective is majority, or quite a few of them, since they have the money, whether they need anything to buy or other things, they'll just spend it, whether there is a need. So the point I want to make, even though you ask for money, budget, if you don't need to spend, then don't spend. Save it. Save it for next year. That's one. And the second one is, do we have proper checks and balances in place? We do have policies, but the checks and balances and validating the results, do we have one? Here is one example I can give what I have done in Folsom, because I can only tell what I have done. That way, when I get there, if I see the opportunity, I'll definitely do it. Folsom has been a city since 1946. 1946, that is, it's a long. India got independence in 1947. We do have a city code and everything. Once I got on the city council, when we are spending for services and products, we get a consent item. I'm talking a little bit technical here, but I hope you understand. Every city council meeting, they get the consent. City manager will buy this, city manager will buy that, right? You know, that's the consent. And I pick up those items and I ask my directors and city manager, did we put our due diligence 100%? Did we vet through every checkbox? Is that the best value contract award we are giving it to? And it is a surprise to me, quite a few times, my city, they were not giving enough weightage for the cost. I hope you are following what I'm saying, cost, right? When you are evaluating which is the best contract, not for the cost, sometimes the expensive ones are being awarded. And when I started questioning, and here is the recent one, which it came out, Folsom is growing. South of 50, we are constructing a fire station. We went out for bidding. And after putting this thought process, checks and balances and best value, we thought it is going to be 10 millions. But we found a vendor for 8.4 millions. By going through the checks and balances and giving more weightage for the cost. And the same thing happened, the new park we are building, we saved $400,000. So in a nutshell, at least I know what to ask, where to ask if somebody is presenting their budget. I can. I'm a number guy, computer science engineer. Based on my 27 years experience, I can certainly caution the department directors when they are coming. Help me understand why you need that much and where you are spending, what you are bringing. Here is the approach I want to do. Since you are asking me where and how, I don't know where because it's billions and billions of dollars. The example I want to take up with a common sense, if any of you has a stock, if you have any stock, every quarter that company comes to Wall Street, they explain how they are doing, up, down, investing, R&D. You remember they do every quarter? That's what I'm going to ask at least the few top departments who are spending the money. How did you do last quarter? How much you spent? What was the outcome? The value outcome for that. Unless we start putting and asking these questions, we don't know how the money is being spent. I just want to correlate this to our stock market, public sector companies, how they are managing. Why can't we manage the same or similar way, whatever the government allows the policies at the state capital? Why not? Why it is different from Wall Street to state capital?
Yeah, thank you, YK. So while we are talking about departments, in California, one of the main things that the government, like all of California, should really be working on is electrification. I mean, talking about vehicles, like now, electric vehicles are basically all over the street, and it's being forecasted that millions and millions more will hit the streets for the simple fact that the governor had said that he wants to get California to zero emission by a certain date. So I'm wondering, have you given this any thought of what this means for your district? And if so, what do you think about electrification, and how do you think it will benefit your community?
Mr. Walma, my friend, the The thought I am giving it to my district. I know you touched on, I'm an immigrant. I came from India, right? Where I was born and brought up was socio-economically very disadvantaged, setback communities. Even till today, they don't have a transportation. Electricity comes and goes, no one knows when. So I'll jump into your electric cars, but my mindset right now, in my district, certain areas are very close to that where I grew up, socio-economically struggling. North Island. I don't want to quote some parts of my Ranch Cordova. They need a basic things of affordable housing, a job in their hand, their kids going through at least a trade education, because some of them may not afford to go to 4-year college with $100,000 tuition fees. So the education, trade education, a job on their hand, roof on their shelter. This is what I gave too much thought so far. I'm a technology guy. Yes, I can speak for electric cars, right? That's the next generation. Yes, our governor is, very aggressive. I respect him. I commend him. Implementation. Sometimes if you go too hard, too short in 2035, that's what the year is. It's 12 years from now. It's around the corner. It's a great thought. The implementation should be more practicable. That's all I can say. Is our grid is out there to accommodate all the demand. California is crazy in peak summers. You all know that. We don't want rolling outage. So let's fix the infrastructure before we get to the, our desired feelings. And if you ask me one more, I born and brought up in a farmer's family back in India. When did we last time build a reservoir to store water, my friend? When? Oh my God. Decades, 40, 50 years ago. How did the population of California grew in last 50 years? Double, triple. How is the consumption? I can speak for Folsom, right? My reservoir is here, but that's not my reservoir, right? So let's focus on the areas where it is a basic necessity for our farmers. I have few ideas. Electrification, the cars, it is there, but not in my top list, my friend. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you for that. Another question I have is in Sacramento, just the region, and just basically our surrounding region, just the valley, really, the cost of housing has escalated to a point where it basically pricing people out of being able to afford a home. And so I guess what I'm asking here, YK, is what would you do to help with that?
Right. I know. There's no easy button for that. Let me tell you. I was there, BIA, meetup dinner, Building Industries Association, the one they recently had last week. I was in Singapore a couple of years before I came to United States, by the way. They manage quite a bit of property, government, they manage, because they keep the cost control and the affordability to the people. 99 years lease. I don't have a quick answer, but one thing I can definitely talk though. I was in Folsom Cordova School District, and I was shocked. The square footage cost to build school, 1 square foot, $1,119. I'm going to come back to the housing now here. The wood, lumber, we are labor people. The $17, $20 they are giving, the labor cost, material cost, nails, wood, cement, that's not costing that much. There are so many regulations is adding up to the cost of construction, and it is going above and above. I am going to sincerely put my energy on overhead cost and rules and regulations. That time is money. The too many the policy, the rules put in place to construction, I'm going to take a look at it. See whether we can trim down some of those and bring the cost down for affordability. And also, I know it's funny to say, but we have to rethink by government engaging seriously with the Construction Builders Association and building the affordable housing. Sincerely, seriously rethink on that. Folsom, I can tell my average medium house is 780K.
Yep,
While Sacramento is 540K. I know,
yeah.
Very expensive.
Thank you for answering that. And, you know, we are getting to closing soon. We know we asked for 30 minutes of your time, and we just wanted to give you a couple more minutes or 1 or 2 minutes to wrap up what you think, you know, what message you want to leave with the voters.
You know, my message is going to be, I'm running with a mindset, if you see any of my signs, a common sense guy. A common sense guy. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, but certainly I'll put a common sense. What exactly the residents, the people of my district or my state is looking for? I'm not going to run to write too many bills. I am not. Let's take a look at the existing bills. Are they working for the people? If not, make amendments the way they're supposed to be working for the people. And our speaker is also in the same mindset. I applaud him for that, Mr. Rivas. He said, nope, don't give me the number of bills. Give me the quality of bills where they are going to make a change in the common man's life. I love it. And also, I came from the government sector. Again, you were asking me, Angelica, the wastage. Once you see it, you will know right away what it is, how it is. It has to be a measurable way. When we spent $20 billion on homeless, how many homeless were able to be employed and now they are the productive citizens? Simple question we will be asking Housing and Community Development Director. If we can't say the answer in a straight way, then there is some problem. Don't throw the good, hard-earned taxpayers' money on the bad programs. I am going to take a look at those programs with my government experience. And last but not least, trade education, very close to you, Mr. Walma. I think we need that. We need that. Our trade education, electrician, welder, fitter, to nurse assistant, to the lab technician, we need to increase. Only 28% of the trade education is in our community colleges. Private sector is very expensive for trade education. I'm going to drive more to put our youth in a pathway, not leaving them hanging on the roads and slowly drifting towards the drug addiction and alcohol abuse and end up as a homeless. Let's find the root cause where it is heading, the feeder to the homelessness. We must stop. That is focusing on youth and couch serving people. And our schools, recently, Roseville had a shooting. We realized after the fact, we must invest on our schools' campus safety. Likewise, I can go on and on, but I use my common sense and listen to people and listen to my district people first and who are struggling with socio-economic ways and help them. And people like Folsom and other states, public safety is very, very important. Community engagement and making the tools available for them is very important as well. Safe neighborhoods always keeps our communities. Okay, that's my common sense thing. I admit I don't know everything, but at the same time, I assure you as a voter, I will consult the experts to get to know and make the right decision and pass the right legislation for you.
Thank you so much for that, YK. We appreciate you very much for taking the time. I know how busy you are. You took 30 minutes out of your schedule to spend the time with us, so we really appreciate it. Thank you, and best of luck with your campaign, and I hope to see you on the trail.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love to reach people one way or another, right? Whether they like my views or not, that's secondary. At least, yeah, we heard from YK. I may not agree with him. That's okay.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Have a good one, YK.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.